What's up, guys? Welcome back to another HERR Lounge podcast. It's another guest today. So you guys have said y'all been enjoying these. So shout out to Dawn, who knows all the plugs. She knows everybody who we've been having on lately. So thank you, Dawn, for telling us about your friend. But before we get started, guys, I like to start with a positive quote. But before we even do that, shout out to our Herrpreneur box vendors, Twin Candle, Made Bright, and Cactus Kush, guys, who had all your goodies for my Patreons who have the subscription for Patrona. New box coming out, so I think you guys will love the new stuff that will be in there. A new scent from Twin Candle, right?
Yep.
And so Cactus Kush is sending you guys a pre-roll, CBD pre-roll, so that's pretty cool. And then don't forget, go on to HERR Apparel. We are having a huge sale as we're getting ready for spring. So we're trying to get, what's crazy is that the sale was supposed to be for our hoodies, but I think this weather can't make up its mind because now it's cold again. So it's like, so what is it? Are you going to bring me the spring, or are you just going to stay cold here? So our hoodies are on sale. But at the rate this is going, I don't know. I guess you'll need it, might need it year round.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Anyhow, let's start with our positive quote of the day. Train your mind to be calm in every situation. So.
Oh, that's perfect for today's energy.
Yeah, I think so too. Just because we have would you be called an herbologist? Is that what we would call you?
Herbalist.
Okay.
We were just talking about that. Like, what's the term?
Herbology is the study of herbs.
Okay.
Okay. So, introduce yourself.
I'm Shawna Bynum. I own Living Earth Herbology and also am opening a school, an herbal school this year called Urban Revival. So it's going to be HERBAN, Urban.
Ah,
so I'll have in-person classes. Hosted just the greater Houston area.
So what is it? What exactly are you going to be doing at the school?
So the school is going to be with a focus on accessible herbalism. Plants are great, but if you can't get your hands on it, if it's too expensive, if it's $100 a pound, that doesn't do you any good.
Yeah.
This is stuff that you can go and you can pick up at the grocery store, go to your backyard, you got a farm, your family's farm, you can go get what you need.
Could you do it in a regular backyard?
As long as you're not spraying chemicals, absolutely.
Fine.
You can go and toss a handful of dandelion seeds that'll grow back every single year.
Dandelion seeds. Tell us about that, because I've heard so many good things from it helping. Actually, I heard that actually helps with fibroids, believe it or not. So someone told me that.
So you can use pretty much every part of the plant.
Okay.
And that's kind of where it gets exciting. A lot of people traditionally have taken the leaves from the dandelion, the greens, and that's what you have in the spring as a spring tonic to help your liver work the way that it's supposed to, kind of clean you out. It's good as for your blood, and it's really, really high in mineral content, much more so than any of the greens that you're going to get at the store.
So question, so the pill version of it, is that
it depends on what it is. A lot of the times that when you get the pill version, it is of the root.
Okay.
Which is really liver supportive. It's really good for your digestion. It contains inulin.
You can lose weight with it too, right?
Yes.
Right.
You can. It's not a stimulant of any kind, but it's going to help your gut microbiome, which is kind of, I guess we're kind of seeing now that's the start of the rest of your health. Is going to start in your gut. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The answer to that is yes, it's fine. Go ahead and take it.
Okay.
The yellow flowers, if you put that in honey and just do an infusion or just let it sit for a while, is bright and it tastes fantastic. You can use it in cooking, but a lot of people just use it to sweeten their teas and coffee.
No clue. Yeah. So tell us how you got into this, because I was thinking about it yesterday, Rob. This is kind of equivalent to what Hispanics would call a yerberia.
Right.
Which we would go to, right?
Correct.
Because I was like, wait a minute. I was like, in our Okay, and herbal. Okay, I think this is the same thing as because I go by hibiscus. It's my jam. I buy it by but I go to the Mexican what is it? I guess the market to get the actual what do you call flour, and
dried flowers,
yeah,
yeah.
you boil it, whatever, and make it from scratch. But how did you get into it? Like, what made you? What sparked the interest? Were you sick? Did you
I was
discover
sick.
something? Okay,
It's how a lot of people get into this. I got sick. I for most of my 20s and part of my 30s, I was a massage therapist, a licensed massage therapist, and I also taught martial arts.
oh, cool.
And so, with, some regular people, corporate jobs sprinkled in. And then I got into a car accident that left me between my neck and my back with 7 herniated discs and some nerve damage in my right leg and a couple other things. And that pretty much just knocked me out of everything that I was doing.
Wow.
And there were, you go through a series of back injections and whatever the insurance is going to
My
cover.
mom is about to do that on Wednesday, y'all, on the 16th.
Really?
Because she's got 5
The
herniated
first one or
discs.
two times I went, I was like, wow, like the pain was gone. It was amazing. And then it wore off. And then after that, it just didn't help. And so we did a trial run on like pain medication for about 6 months. And yeah, it worked, but I was like, I can't live like this. That's just, I can't function.
Yeah.
What kind of injections?
Steroid injections.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what your mom's doing so?
Yeah, that's what my mom's doing. But I have to actually go with her. She can't drive herself.
So they give you 2 options usually. The first time I did it, they just did like a local anesthetic.
Okay.
And then they stick the big needle in.
Got it. Okay.
Normally a lot of people that's too much for some people. They'll give you like a really light sedative to put you out. Then they'll go in and do the injections. Then they wake you right back up. And then that means someone has to drive you.
Okay, yeah, that's what I think that's what I'm doing. Yeah. My mom's got 5. And I think it's just from years of standing, right? Because she's a hairdresser.
Oh yeah. Easily.
And then she was also in a car accident. Remember when the 18-wheeler kind
Right.
of and so she thinks it's the combination of 2, but mostly from the standing for so many years. I mean, she's been doing this for over 30 years.
Yeah.
So that's what
I
she
hope
thinks.
she gets some relief.
Yeah.
That's got to be.
This is her last, she's her last resort because she says she's done. She won't do the pain medicine. She says it'll work and then it wears off. She's like, same thing you're saying. She's like, I can't be on pain medication like all the time. It's just not, it's not good for you.
I have to adult. I can't do
exactly.
this.
Yeah, exactly. That's what she says. So this is her next step.
Does that mean she's going to retire and finally be the full-time babysitter?
I mean, let's hope so, man. That's
For real, we were just talking about
This
this.
is what I'm hoping
She doesn't
for.
want to retire, but at this point, just take care of your grandkids.
She just feels she's still young. She's 60, which she is, but you know what I'm saying? My mom doesn't look 60 either, so she looks great, but she just won't.
She won't give it up. She won't hang it up.
It's so my dad retired a few years ago, and he's like, I work more now than I ever did. He's like, because
otherwise you'd be super bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just not punching a clock.
So then what happened? So you got in an accident and then...
And so at the same time, I had been running a small urban farm that focused on like the world's hottest peppers, the Reaper and the Ghost peppers. And so that's what I specialized in. So it was plants and seeds and then pods. And then I had been in the same time taking classes, some herbalist classes.
Okay.
And then COVID hit.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, we got to shut this down. Well, we had to shut it down. We had a certified nursery in the backyard. It was just time. I didn't want to let go of that. So we plowed everything over and I started growing herbs, like a small herb farm. And I was like, you know what? I can do this. Like, that's where my attention had started to go in the last few years anyway. And it was like a pull of, this is where I'm supposed to be. It's nice when you finally, some people grow up and they're like, I'm going to be a veterinarian. I'm going to be a teacher. And I was like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
You know, you like float around. And when I really started getting really heavy into the classwork, I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I miss doing massage. I miss it a lot.
What do you miss from it? I guess let me ask you that. Is it your clients, you coming in and...
I do miss the clients. I had a good amount of regulars, and it sounds so woo-woo. You know what I mean? It really does. There's such a good energy exchange.
We use that word a lot around here.
Yeah.
Woo-woo.
Yeah, that happens. And I was helping people.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah,
Because,
before we get too sidetracked, because I want to go back to what you're saying. Are you going to explain that story about your massage experience?
Yeah, I actually had a... she's a doula / also, I guess, a masseuse. Mm-hmm. And before she gets started, I mean, she literally sits here and talks to you, and she totally had me crying because I guess I was bottling in. I birthed at home, and my last child that I had, I ended up going to the hospital. But I guess little did I know that I was still in my head playing it out and wondering. Yeah, trauma. Exactly. And so I thought it was silly because when she kept asking me questions, I was like, let's get on with the massage, girl. I'm here for a massage. I'm not trying to do all this talking. But I realized why it was much needed, because after that, the massage went I was telling Rob, you need to have her massage you.
Yeah,
she's amazing. Yeah. It was that much. It was.
I'll take her number.
Yeah, right.
It was
seriously.
It was therapeutic. Literally, it was like a massage I've never had. And again, it was because of maybe the energy she had. Also, just her way of being. I think that's how I took. Yeah. I was like, wow, her job is really important.
I mean, I can't count the number of women that I had that either in the middle of a massage or at the end that just sat there and cried. It's men. I had at least a dozen men.
Yeah. Wow.
We hold our emotions physically so tight all the time, and nobody wants to let it go.
That's insane.
It's either because
right?
it's on like a trauma loop,
yeah,
or you don't know how. Everything we do is go.
Hey, you should tell your friend Dawn that more often. I try to get everybody to let go of their fucking feelings, but everyone's so goddamn hard-headed.
I'm telling you, it's go time all the time, from the time you get up to the time you go to bed. And some people can't help it. That's how they're programmed.
Let me find out Jackie, you're actually a fortune teller over here, Shawna.
My friend Jackie is just like Dawn, that they are busy and they're not really happy unless they're busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not that person. I know when I need to take some time and I need to stop, and it hasn't always been like that. But massage and herbalism worked very closely that way, that it's not just the chemical constituents of the plants having an effect on your body, but also energetically. And you'll see a lot of that with traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic, that's very concentrated. If you are angry, you have a hot liver, you need to cool down. Here are these herbs. You need to take it as a tea. You need to chill out.
Yeah, because I didn't even know, to be honest with you, hibiscus, I just made it because it's really just a delicious Mexican drink that we grew up with. But after I had my baby, my blood pressure was high. And my midwife said, I need for you to take this for at least a week, and we're going to monitor your blood pressure every day. And I was like, hibiscus? I was like, she goes, I need you to give hibiscus tea. I was like the kind, I was so confused. I never even knew that it did that for you. I was like, I have a whole bag in the back of my, in my pantry. I was like, is that the way you're talking about? She's like, yep, that's exactly it. I was like, do you know that's a Mexican drink? She's like, I don't know what it is, but it's great for blood pressure, so take some. So I took it for a week.
Yeah.
And it regulated my blood pressure, and it just went, because I never had the blood pressure issue, so I don't know. I don't want anybody to start, who has blood pressure, to start taking it and be like, this is going to solve your problem.
Yeah, don't just stop taking your medicine.
Don't just stop taking your medicine. Just real disclaimer, real quick. Yeah.
I am not a doctor.
Yeah.
I am not a healthcare professional. Let's go ahead and put that out there. Yeah. I don't want to be, and that's not what I do.
Exactly. Same. But I just know that, I guess because I wasn't someone who's ever had high blood pressure issues, this was something that's
not your chronic issue,
right?
You're
exactly.
not on medication.
Exactly. Yeah. So she just kind of thought, let's try to see if this regulates it. If not, then we're going to need you to go to the doctor. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was.
So were you much for herbal kind of, what's the word? Herbalist, stuff other than hibiscus? Yeah.
Totally. Just because I'm about natural.
Right.
So if I can get something supernatural, it's like I'm real picky about my vitamins. It's like,
Just because you buy it and it says it's a vitamin doesn't mean it's bioavailable.
Exactly. And not only that, like I always feel like, so I know vitamins can be expensive when they're like in its natural, form or whatever. And so I remember my mom was like, can you give me some of those vitamins? And I was just like, the ones that you had, I was like, oh, they're kind of like $60 for only 30 something. And so, so I use New Chapter. And the reason I like them is because you don't have to take it with any food. So I feel that if you can take a vitamin on an empty stomach, it's got to be as natural as possible because it's not doing anything versus regular vitamins. You've got to take them with food so that it doesn't give you, so you don't feel like throwing up and doesn't cause all this other stuff. Also, the ingredients that are on the one that I take is pretty.
And some vitamins are like that. It doesn't matter what you take with it. Some minerals and vitamins have to be paired with other things to work. People take vitamin D in the morning. They're like, hey, I'm going to take it with my coffee. No, you need to eat. It is not water soluble.
Right.
Just so everybody knows. It is fat soluble.
Yep.
Take your vitamin D with
Omegas,
some food or your omega-3s or whatever else you're taking, or you're wasting your money.
Yeah, I take omega-3s. I take vitamin D. I take a shitload of stuff.
And I'll tell you, and for everybody else listening, if you are not supplementing magnesium in your diet, you need to. You're never going to get enough with the food that you eat, even all the leafy greens. I don't care what anybody tells you. And it's not, magnesium is not one of those, minerals that...
Pete, I take them every night.
ZMAs, yeah.
ZMAs. We take ZMAs every night.
I've had really bad restless leg from the nerve damage in my right leg, and I was like, I'm just going to cut it. I told my husband one night, we're going to cut it off.
Wow,
I was like, we're going to go to the doctor, and they're just going to take it off. I was like, I can't live like this. I had been on days with no sleep, and so I started heavily supplementing with some magnesium after talking to some of my herbal professors, and it's just gone.
So, okay, so going back to it, so you had the accident, then what made you just kind of say, oh, really? I took this and it kind of helped, or I took that, I mixed that. When did you kind of like start playing with it to where you...
Yeah, how'd you put it together?
To where you knew certain things were working for you.
So I knew I had a certain amount of herbs that I had ordered that I was drinking as a tea, like usually daily. I had a nice cup of tea in the afternoon. That's my jam. And I was like, this could be something that everyone can get their hands on. This isn't foreign. This isn't something that we aren't used to. Our relationship as human beings, our relationship with plants started the second we were on the earth. You know what I mean? And it's only in the last, 100 years that we've strayed heavily, especially in the West, strayed heavily away from herbs as medicine. But we do, and we don't know that we do. Everything you eat, when you season your food, that's herbs. Rosemary, fennel, all these, the oregano, thyme, stuff that goes into traditionally like Italian food that is traditionally heavy. There's sausage, there's cheese. Those are all carminative. Those all help with gas and bloating and digestion. They're there for a reason. When you use ginger to make an Asian dish, or cilantro, or any other number of, garlic. Oh God, garlic.
I use garlic a lot.
Dawn loves garlic.
I love garlic too.
With your heart. You have to measure that with your heart.
Yeah, I can't do too much.
It's you are feeding your body. All of that is herbs. So if you can start with what you can get at the grocery store, and you can utilize that in several different ways, that's all you need.
I love Moringa or Moringa. I don't know how you pronounce it. Am I saying it right? Moringa. I had no idea all the benefits it had, but how I discovered it is because I struggled with milk supply. And I was reading some stuff, and I'm all about doing things the natural way again. So I was like, Moringa of all things. However, I know that's an herb that a lot of in the Indian culture, they take and they mix it with another one. I forgot what it was, which was crazy because they said these herbs during the pandemic I think it was Moringa and something else. I can't think of the other name of it.
Probably turmeric.
Remember what it was, but he was selling these little bags of herbs at the coffee shop that I go to. It's called Doshi House right here.
Okay.
And he was selling them, and you made it as a tea, and it was to help with your immune system as well. And since, they said COVID was this whole immune system issue, he was kind of like explaining, but it's like an old ancient thing that I guess he's Pakistani.
It's probably Tulsi.
I'm not sure what the other one was, but I know
Like a holy basil.
But for sure, Moringa was how I discovered it from there. And then as I discovered that it was for other stuff, and I was like, wow, Moringa's really cool. So I love Moringa tea at night.
I've never even heard of
It's
that.
tasty.
Yeah,
it's
it's
very,
so
very mild. It's not, you can get other like nettle and other really heavily like mineral, vitamin rich plants. But they're like that, you're like, that tastes kind of green. Does that make sense? And Moringa is very light and it's very palatable.
Yeah.
Like a wheatgrass shot when you say green?
Much less. Yes,
No.
green, like
Yeah.
a wheatgrass shot. Yeah.
It's
And
not
for
even-
some people too bitter.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's good.
Yeah, me
Maybe
too.
I'm just used to it. I
Well,
don't
and
know.
people, you can use it in the tea if you want to chop it up and put it in like a sauce or whatever it is you're eating. Eat it.
Wow.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
And so getting back to just classes, so I finished the classes, and it's important to note for herbalists in the United States that there are no state or federal regulations that regulate herbalists. There's no licensing. There's no certifications, stuff like that they oversee the way they do in maybe like the UK. So this is all, you can get certifications, and it's certification of completion of your education.
got it.
And it should stay that way. We have too many nuanced
Yeah, the last thing we need is more
types
regulation.
Well, thank you. Types, we have people in Appalachia who they have their own way. They have their own way about it. We have the indigenous people. They have their own way. You're going to regulate all of that?
Yeah.
No, it's impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible. And Big Pharma won't get, and this isn't like conspiracy theory, you can't patent a plant. You patent the extraction process, so there's no money to be made.
Yeah.
So they don't care to get into it. And so as long as herbalists stay in their lane, as long as we stay in our lane, we don't try to be doctors, lots of language we can't use, then the FDA like stays back and they don't meddle in our business, which is why a lot of people have a problem going to see herbalists because they're like, oh, it just sounds like a hippie. Well, yeah. Because we can't say prescribe, we can't say treat, we can't say patient, we can't say symptom, we can't say, there's a whole list of things we can't say. We say balance, we say support, you know what I mean? We say modulate, because that actually is what the herbs are doing to your body.
So how long do you, like, let's just say you were just taking something for, I don't know. Okay, let's just use a hibiscus, for example. As an herbalist, if someone said, well, I was told to come get hibiscus for my high blood pressure issue, what instructions would you give that person with the plant?
And so the answer to this is the answer that I give everybody is it depends. Do you need to take it in a pill form, in a capsule, dried? Is that the easy thing for you to do? Are you cool making some tea? Do you want something else in that tea for flavor? Or just hibiscus? You want to make it like a nice cup of tea a day? Normally when it's that, it needs to be a strong cup, and it's usually 2 or 3 times a day.
Got it.
Do you want a tincture, which is just an alcohol extraction of the plant material?
Got it.
It's much more concentrated, but if all you do is open that and take it, and you don't have to spend 10 minutes making a cup of tea, all the herbs in the world aren't going to do you any good if you're not going to use it.
Got it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what is the easiest way for you to be able to take that?
Got it.
It's kind
I
of what it
see.
comes down to.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I see now.
I never put it together like that.
Well, and some chemical constituents in herbs will extract in water, but not necessarily in alcohol. So if you're going for specific tannins and, certain things, you don't want to cheat yourself by going the easiest route if that's not the best route to take.
So I have a question for you, just because I'm curious if it's the same thing. So I'm a big Rhonda Patrick fan, and and she does not use the what is it, a juicer to make the juices, because she says it removes all the real minerals that you get from whatever it is that you're making, right? Whatever juice it is that you're making, you kind of lose a lot of it. So she prefers to blend, right? Mm-hmm. Do herbs work the same way as you're extracting certain things? Like, let's just say some herbs are better in tea form, some are better in the tinctures. So is that does it work kind of the same way, or?
I'd say, this is such a general statement. Most herbs will extract well in an alcohol preparation.
And why so? It just absorbs it, or
the way it pulls the chemical constituents out of the plant material, and then preserves it. And a very large portion of herbs do really well as a tea. And I would prefer, let me go ahead and this is just me. I would prefer people go ahead and drink that cup of tea, because most likely you're all dehydrated anyway. Yeah. Drink some damn water, y'all. Yeah. Drink some water.
Yeah. I can't get my babysitter to drink. She thinks because she has, no, I'm not kidding you. This is y'all. She thinks because she has 4 Coke Zeros a day, she is hydrated. And she swears a doctor told her it's liquid, so your body's staying hydrated. I said, do you know how much of our body is made up of water?
You know how much your brain
is made up of water? Exactly. What is it, like 73?
70, I think 75, I think.
Like that.
You know her pee looks like Mountain Dew.
100%. And she doesn't even take vitamins. She probably takes vitamins on it.
I don't know if I don't think so. But she's on high blood pressure medication. So she's on a lot of stuff that needs water, you know? So, you know, it's crazy how some people think that, because what is it? I think you can go a month without food, but you can't even go a week without water.
No, I think you can go 3 or 4 days without water.
About 3 days. Well, and once you go a certain amount of time without water, your judgment is extremely impaired, and you start making really bad decisions. So all of you out there that keep making bad decisions,
there you go.
Water.
So it's funny.
That's hilarious.
Seriously,
we just did a weight loss challenge, and one of the things that a lot of the people, a lot of our girls struggled with was keeping up with their water, which for me is insane, because I carry it's inside, right? But I carry, usually you'll see it on all my videos, it's a big neon water, what do you call it? Hydro flask. Mm-hmm. And I have at least 4 of those a day, at least. That's a minimum. That's
good for you.
Yeah. But I just can't drink anything else. I don't like soda.
I think once you start, and I can't say this for everybody, but for me, once you start drinking water, you get a liter in. Once you get about a liter in, you're thirsty. You know what I mean? Like, you want to drink more water.
Well, my lips get super dry if I don't. Like, it's weird. Like, my body knows, like, hey, you forgot.
Because they also don't work out. There's not enough physical activity for them. They're very sedentary, so that's not triggering them to.
That's a good point.
To be thirsty. That's my opinion. I noticed when I was very sedentary, I did not need as much water, and I really didn't think about it.
Hey, a little hack here, a little tip. We got some new. So the Hydro Flask are great bottles. They're made very well. They keep your water very cool, but they're very expensive. So if you go to Walmart, we're looking for some new cups for the kids for camp, but we don't want to get them any plastic cheap shit. So the Sub-Zero brand at Walmart right now, it's stainless steel, it's double thermalized, whatever.
It's really good.
It's really good.
I have one.
They're on. A lot of their products are closeout. They're $4 instead of $25 right now.
What? At Walmart?
Yeah. So we got 2 of the tall ones, 2 of the regular cups, and 2 of like another like thing for the kids.
Oh, I gotta go.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Don't post this out there till I go to Walmart.
Hydro Flask. I bought. So the cups that I bought to sell. If you bought a Chingona cup from me, your ice stays longer in that than it does in the Hydro Flask.
Really?
And I'm not just saying that because I sold those cups, but legit, those cups hold the ice better than the Hydro Flask.
Oh, wow.
And I was really kind of upset, because I'm like, these are really expensive. Mine are old, so I mean the paint scraped off of it. Mine are really old. They just been through some shit. But I was kind of mad. I was like, you spend all this money and these cups that I'm able to get for wholesale price, right, to make my merchandise, turned out to be way better. It's like insane. I've left ice in there, right? I put ice, got it the next day, and it was there.
Oh my God,
to keep,
amazing.
you know, the ones that say the blings on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a coffee mug also that we sold. Same thing. My tea in that thing, it stays warm
Nice.
for the longest. Like no, and it takes a while before it turns warm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Before it starts to get cold and it doesn't
yeah.
keep the heat anymore.
I know a lot of people are probably thinking like, I need a cup the way I need a hole in my head because everybody has so many cups, but there's something about a really good cup that
You're going to go home and you're going to throw away the other crap cup.
Yeah,
100%.
exactly.
100%. Yeah.
That's how I feel about the double insulated
Yeah.
coffee cups that I have you can grab. They're glass, but you can grab them no matter how hot they are. They're amazing. They're my favorite. But anyway, going off that went off subject real quick.
Had to throw it out there.
So
We're going back to your
so once I started the business, the main goal here is to introduce people into herbalism. Mm-hmm. Most people, the people who know, they come to me. They know. They may not know exactly what they need, but they'll ask and we can work out like a plan, or I can make recommendations. But they already know and they know it works. The people who don't know and they're skeptical of it working, because what they know, most people, is homeopathy. Which is, you take a little bit of this to counteract a little bit of this, and it's in such a micro dose that is it even really doing anything? And there are no, clinical trials or anything
Sure.
to back that up. And that's not what this is for me. I am specifically practicing Western herbalism, generic, trademark, whatever it is. And I want to also make a note, there are a lot of herbalists that are not going to agree with this. I am not anti-Western medicine. Antibiotics are a miracle. Insulin is a miracle. And if you need a miracle, then that's what you need.
Sure.
If you need heart medication, take your heart medication.
Yeah.
Don't poo-poo all over it hoping that something else is going to work just because it's natural. Talk to your doctor to work with your herbalist so that this all works together. But
Sure.
you know what I mean? And some herbalists have the very strong belief that you don't need antibiotics, that plants can just do that. And I'm here to tell you that I'd be dead if that were the case. You know what I mean? I have had broken bones and kidney stones, and I have been sick, and I have needed medical intervention. So I'm not saying herbalism is the only way.
Would you say that herbalism can be the way, should you catch something early where like medication is not needed just yet,
absolutely.
but if you don't monitor or watch whatever it is that you need to be doing, and it's going to turn into medication?
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
I really believe that. And I think that pretty much every single person could benefit from some herbal intervention every single day. A cup of lovely tea. Iced tea.
Give us
hot
some
tea,
ideas.
It doesn't really
Give
matter.
us some ideas for, let's just say, stress.
Yeah.
Let's start with stress.
Yeah. So things that you can get, and here's my product line is made to be, yes, it tastes good. Almost 100% of the time it'll taste nice, but it's also generic enough that people can use it and see that it works. And then come back for something more specific to their selves, to their bodies. You can go to the store and get some chamomile tea. Like, where do you go that you can't find bagged chamomile tea? It doesn't have to be. You don't have to go into a farmer's market or a field next door and pick it fresh. You can get, if that's what you can get your hands on, go get it.
Do you know that I never knew that it came in a, I know this is really bad, but I never knew that chamomile tea came in a bag form, because growing up, we only used loose leaf of it. And so when someone said, would you like some chamomile tea? And I was like, sure. And I was like,
What is this?
Why is this bag in here? And they're like, it's chamomile. I was like, no, it's not. I was like, I need the little sticks and because growing up, this is, I guess this is, I don't know, again, Mexican stuff.
It is very Mexican, yeah.
But we use it should you have a stomach ache, for cramps, like when the babies are like colicky or whatever. It's like a very minimal amount that you give them. But like my babysitter will say, hey, and it's funny because if I said, dang, I don't have the actual little plant. I said, but I have the bags because my husband will drink it in the little baggies. So she opened it up. It's funny, out of the bag and literally boiled it.
Yeah.
And then gave it and then made it.
And it's funny that you list all of that because it is, it can help relax muscles, muscle tension and spasms. It is good for digestion. It's good if you have had NSAIDs, stuff that might upset your stomach. And I will say that if you're leaving that bag in or you're just letting it sit for 2 or 3 minutes, you're kind of doing yourself a disservice. Steeping your herbs, your herbal tea, sometimes up to 10 minutes is kind of what's necessary. It may be a little bitter. You can make a shorter, smaller cup and just pound it like a shot. It doesn't matter. But if you want like, oh, this is a fancy, flavorful cup of tea and it's nice, that's great. 2 or 3 minutes, steep it. If you want it to work medicinally, you need to let it steep a little bit longer.
Yeah, I love the letting it sit there for a hot minute. I have the
taste it.
the little ball that I drop in there because I get the herbs. I don't get the actual bag, the baggies. So I have the little ball. It sits on a little owl, hangs in
That's cute.
there.
I have a sloth.
Yeah, hangs
Mine's a
in
sloth.
there, and then it chills, and then it's just like, oh, and it's funny for me. It's color. So I'll look at my cup and I'll be like,
It's not the right color yet.
It's not
Yes.
yet. So I'm like, all right, now it is. Here, I can drink it. It's weird, I know.
Sometimes you gotta let the mountains turn blue.
I love teas, especially if I can. I like to taste very planty though. So if it's got too much honey for me, then it's like, eesh, I would really want. It's almost like coffee for me.
Yeah.
It has to be pretty close to black with just like a slight. I mean, Rob will tell you I have a very complicated, very particular way of ordering my coffee because I just want just enough flavor, but I still want to taste my damn coffee, and that's kind of how I feel about.
Well, if it's bad coffee.
That's true. That's true too. But that's how I like for my teas to taste. Like I like to. I don't want it to be too sweet because I kind of want to know what flavors were in there. I don't know. It's really weird. But if you really pay attention to herbs or like your teas that you drink, try not to put a lot of honey just once. And then just kind of like really like, oh gosh, I can really taste.
I kind of feel if I add too much sweetener, like it's not doing any, like it takes away from the medicinal.
Sure, but a lot of people
It's
like
not,
a lot of.
Well, but here's the thing: we as a society, so like going back to the dandelion greens, I'll use that as an example. We eat a salad before a meal. Nowadays, it's spinach and iceberg. Whatever you find in a restaurant. That defeats the purpose. That is not the purpose of the salad. Traditionally, the purpose of a salad was that it is bitter. Those greens, the arugula, the dandelion leaves, they are bitter. That stimulates digestion. And it gets your stomach and your body ready for the meal you're about to consume. And we have gotten so far, specifically like Western civilization, away from bitter flavors. Bitter is bad. We even use it descriptively to say, oh, they're so bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the situation has just turned bitter.
Yeah.
And it's not. We're too sweet of a society. If we really could introduce a little more bitter into what we eat.
Well, then I'm going to say I like my coffee sweet then because I really like the bitter taste. That's me. So I'm going to say I like my coffee sweet.
We would have much better gut health. We really, really would. And that's why people will take bitters on their tongue before they eat. If they have really hard time digesting food or before a heavy meal to help their body digest the food.
So I have a confession real quick before I want to ask about your teas that I saw on your, excuse me, on your Instagram. This weekend, my husband had shows in McAllen and we kind of drove around and I was like, geez, I can't find anything. So we went to this place where it was like a Mexican restaurant, right? And if you're not used to eating like heavy every day, your body feels it, right? So we had already gone to Delia's Tamales to taste the tamales, right? To see what this whole thing was about. And then so for lunch, I think I had something else that was not healthy. Oh, I had a tostada. And then we went to go have dinner. And I was like, okay, this has got to be a salad. So I cannot eat another meal this way, right? So then I said, hey, so do you have like a taco salad? Like, do you have a salad where it's just like greens and, protein?
Some
He's
of that
like,
fiber, yeah.
He goes, yeah, we do. And it's got like these green circles like this. And I was like, green circles. I was like,
Spinach.
I was like, cucumbers? It's like, what green circles are you talking about? Because I was thinking like chopped up. I don't know. He goes, I don't know what it's called. And he's calling people on the radio to explain a salad.
That's hilarious.
And no one knew how to explain the salad to me because it's not even listed on the menu, first of all. But I was wanting it because I needed some greens. If you eat greens, your body actually will ask for it. I don't know if that's for you.
I wanted a salad yesterday. Somehow we ended up at McAllister's. But anyway.
Yeah. So, well, they have some.
They do.
Yeah.
But we didn't. We got sandwiches.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Well, I'll go there, right?
Yeah.
I found that once you start eating green vegetables specifically, you start to crave it more.
Yeah.
Your body needs those minerals. I would say everybody out there, unless you're eating a good helping of plant material every day, that your body is in desperate need of those minerals.
Yeah. I agree.
So, wait, did they explain it or no? Did you find out what the greens
I gave
are?
up because they were talking on the little radio thing on the little headphones.
Just give me the
You're
enchiladas.
like, you know what?
I just
we're
asked.
okay.
I said, you
It's
know what?
okay.
Just give me the fajita plate so that I can just have
yeah.
the fajitas
Some
and we
peppers,
just
maybe.
we call it a day. You know what I'm
have to
saying?
start, so Dawn has been writing out my meals for me, all my macros. And man, once you start eating clean, you have like one of those heavy meals, it literally, it sits there
Yeah.
Oh, forever.
and it's just uncomfortable and it sucks. And I'm like,
I travel with
it
enzyme
used to not
pills.
bother me. It used to not bother me, but not anymore. I can't.
I travel with enzyme pills because
Oh, every day. I take that
cannot.
with enzymes, yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it. Like I don't do it when I'm eating clean, but I knew for some reason we were going to Macau and I was like, we're probably not going to find that many healthy options. So let me bring as many of my digestive enzymes that I can bring with me because I'm going to need them. And sure enough, Pete's like, I wish I had some. I said, yep, I brought them in my pill box. Here you go.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, yep, you should listen to me and just drink yours and not give them any.
No.
So sad.
So
to
here
be
you go.
you.
I like the name of your
Hashtag marriage.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. Hashtag
For
marriage.
real.
I like the name of your teas. I think they're really cool.
Thanks.
Maybe Today Satan is one of them that I saw on there.
So the Not Today Satan is the uncaffeinated version of that.
Is that okay?
The same formula, just one has.
That's funny because I was going to ask you
latte.
what exactly is a mix of this. So this is like for coffee drinkers, or if you're like needing a pick me up. Is that what this is?
All of the caffeinated teas that I have, some are actual tea, white tea, black tea, anything that we know as a tea that does not actually have the centella actual tea like Lipton that you're used to is called a tisane. That's technically what it's called. So anything that's non-caffeinated, I still call it a tea because nobody knows what that is.
Got it. Okay.
But I try to give people the option. Some people really like that caffeine, but the caffeine that you get from coffee, when what you want out of it is done, when your focus and energy is done, that is still in your body for like 4 to 6 hours, still doing what it does in your body, which is why you can't sleep. You get more of like a green tea, a black tea, something with a shorter lifespan. That's the way to go. If you're trying to get away from coffee, not just because I enjoy a cup of coffee. It's if people are drinking a pot of coffee to get through their day, then that's a problem and you need to cut back.
I drink it because I like coffee,
Just
to be honest.
kidding.
And also for me, in addition to that, I mean, I really enjoy coffee. There's something I'd like to own a coffee shop one day. There's something to me about
It's delicious.
a coffee. I don't really know what it does to my brain, but for me, it almost does like what a tea does for me.
The ritual too is
Yeah,
is a
it's the
big part of
ritual. I
it.
think that's what it is too. For me, it's I'm waking up, and as I'm taking my sip, my little hamster's starting to go like this. And it's kicking one foot at a time. And so it's almost like I can feel each part of myself start waking up as I'm having like my
Once
first.
you start to smell it first.
Yes,
and then-
exactly.
yeah.
So it's kind of a thing for me. It's kind of the same thing with my teas at night.
Well,
I like
coffee-
I like to see the steam coming out. I like for the little ball to sit there, and I'm telling you,
ritual of it
it's
is
really
pretty woo-woo.
weird.
really is
You're pretty woo-woo,
very
Marcel.
important. If we learn anything from the Japanese people as a culture, that's very important. The ritual of having tea.
Yeah. that's
So
true.
I have a bunch of. We went to China, and so I have a bunch of the way they drink their tea is totally different. I mean, everywhere, everyone drinks tea all day long.
Yep.
It's not this coffee thing like here in America, the
And
way
in
we
the UK,
do.
America's just we're so different.
Yeah, we are. We're
From the
very
rest of the world.
Listen, and I discovered
We're number
that
one. We're number one.
we're number one in a lot of things, but very last when it comes to FDA things being approved. Because I learned this with my with formula. I supplement with Similac, and Similac just got taken off because of the shit it had in it.
Dude, Prilosec? How many people took Prilosec for acid reflux? Black box warning. I just want y'all to know. So if you're just taking it, stop taking it. And don't get me started on protein pump inhibitors and how they're killing all of you. So
This is definitely going to have to be both. We'll do both parts, yeah? Sean's got time. We'll just keep it rolling.
Oh, you have time?
Oh,
yeah. Oh, okay. I was like,
There's a ton of
I was
stuff we
already trying to
haven't got
hurry
to.
up. I was
Yeah.
like, let me hurry up and ask my
No.
next question because
But you know, Marisol, coffee is an herb. Coffee is an herb. It's a great digestive. It's good for like almost along lines as something like rosemary for focus and concentration. It not with all the crap that everybody puts in it. Get a cup of black coffee, maybe
you.
a little bit of cream. Skip the sugar.
Are there any
you don't have to
misconce-
you don't have to like it to take it, but honestly, a cup of black coffee will do you really good.
Are there any misconceptions about coffee you think that people just don't know or don't get or have been kind of misled by?
It's the caffeine in the coffee that is usually the problem. It's not the taste. It's not, I drank a cup of coffee, now I got to go poop right away. Well, that's your guts. That's not the coffee. Don't blame the coffee.
Why does it trigger it then?
Coffee's not the bad guy. That's your guts.
No, it's my friend in that case.
Yeah, well, some people need that. Some people
Yeah.
need that kind of stimulant to
Yeah.
help. And there are herbs that will help with that as well. But again, coffee isn't coffee anymore. It's a frappe. It's loaded with sugar.
Yeah.
so disgusting.
We don't like bitter.
No.
And you know what I find interesting is that so many people love IPA. They love IPAs.
I love IPAs.
And it's so bitter.
Yeah.
But everywhere else in their life, they're like, no, I don't want that. That's too bitter. I don't like the way that.
Oh, those are weird.
And that's my favorite. Bitter beer is my favorite.
Yeah.
I just like bitter tasting things. I don't know what it is about it.
Are we superior, guys? Are we superior people than these other fucking losers that have
I think
milkshakes in their
it's
coffee?
because no, listen. I really think it had to do with for me. I hated coffee like growing up because my parents, well, my dad, my mom has never liked it, but my dad was a huge coffee drinker. My grandparents, huge coffee drinkers. So I hated the smell on the breath afterwards. I was like, golly, that shit smells like dookie. Like, why?
It's triggering.
gross, you know?
You carry that with you.
So
Childhood trauma.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was in college and I was working full time, and my girlfriend said, I said, man, I'm so tired. And I would take like energy pills to try to stay,
We all
you know
did.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Up. And so, and she's like, have you ever tried coffee? I was like, gross. I was like, who drinks coffee? I was like, I can't do that. She goes, the only thing I could do was what we're just talking about is a caramel frappuccino. And we all know that's not really coffee. But
Right.
anyway, and I was like, it's too sugar. You know, I'd be like, yeah, it's good, but it's so sugary. And I was like, that's the only form. She's like, have you ever tried a skinny vanilla latte? And I was like, yeah, no, it doesn't sound like something I want to try. And I guess because it was skinny, it didn't taste as sugary.
Heavy and syrupy.
So
Yeah.
maybe, or I don't know if it was the way that she ordered it, right?
Yeah.
But after that, it was like, anytime I was like, oh my God, this is it. Well, then one time they messed up and they didn't add, like, I forgot what ingredient it was in there. So then it was like even more bitter. I was like, wow, this is
Yeah.
really good. Then I tasted cold brew for the first time,
Yes, cold brew.
and that was it.
Bro, we drink so much cold brew around
I was
here.
like, I love cold brew.
And then the nitro came out.
Nitro is
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is that my parents, they had like Folgers.
right.
Best
What's the one in
part
the
of
blue?
weekend.
The
It's
blue
Folgers
tin?
in
Your
your
cup.
cup.
Maxwell House?
Maxwell. Oh, Maxwell House. Just
Yeah, why are those coffees so
Just
shitty?
set that on fire. That is disgusting. And that was their only options. But you had this whole craft beer wave come through, and now we have so many independent coffee shops, little coffee shops that they roast their own beans. They're
I
in
love
the
that,
shop.
yeah.
How amazing is that? The options that you have.
There's so much to coffee too in general, just that
So
people don't
much
know.
coffee. I love watching coffee
like roasters, like roastmasters kind of thing.
Roaster stories on YouTube. Man, I go down those rabbit holes. I'm just like, word, and like they'll tell you where they went to go get it from.
Peak adulting.
Who's the farm?
Peak adulting.
I was like, man, yeah, trust me, because no, if you really, it's almost like beer. People that love craft beer and they're into it, and they can tell you, like, I remember when it first started, my friend's husband had his own little thing in the garage, like to make it, and I was like, okay, this is really going overboard. But the way he spoke about it was with so much excitement. It was like, okay, I get it now, because if you can understand that, and this was now probably late 20s, early 30s, right? So you're kind of entering adulthood, right? Mm-hmm. And so then when I kind of got into more of like smaller coffee shops and started tasting different things, and I was like, oh, wow. Listen, now, if anybody will tell you, I love my Green Queen, right? But she's now secondary. Like, she's secondary, and I only go there whenever I really, because they're everywhere, right? And if I just can't find some kind, like when we went to McAllen, it was
Starbucks, by the way, everybody, if you're not familiar with the term
Green
yet.
Queen, yeah. Juan had asked, like, so do you want me to start at Starbucks? I'm like, can we find a local coffee shop first? Then if I can't find a local coffee shop, let's go to Starbucks. That's fine, but Starbucks is everywhere. So, and the only thing I get from there anyway, it doesn't matter. They can't fuck it up. So it's nitro cold brew. So, how bad could you can't mess that up. So it's the one drink. But then when you ask for a splash of milk, I literally like for it to just be a hint of it.
I don't want a quarter cup of it.
Exactly. Why? I posted a thing and I was like, it's a splash, man. This is not. I was like so annoyed because
they always do that though.
It was my first cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Yes,
I just paid $5 for this.
I'll
ruined
drink
it.
That's fine.
But it's what I had to do. Wanted. I was at the airport and I was just like, do I go up to them and say this is not a splash? I literally sat there and debated what I should do, and I just said, is there any way? I said that you can give me half of another cold brew.
Can you add more coffee to this milk?
I was like, so that I can dump this out and add more. It's just like, what?
Like,
she didn't get it. And I was just like, just forget it. And there's all these people at the airport. You know how it is.
Yeah.
So I just said, I'm going to go. I literally had 3 sips and I had to trash it. And I said, I had it on a gift card, so I didn't feel as bad. But anyway, I was like, damn it. I wanted to ask you real quick, just because the next episode only, what do you call it? Our Patreons will get. And so just so we can give at least some of our, our listeners for the Wednesday episode to kind of take something from the episode. What if you told someone, take this tea for the morning, this tea in the afternoon, and you can take this one in the evening? And I know everything is symptom related, or not. I guess you can't say symptoms, right? I guess it's kind of mood related. Okay. So let's just say in the morning, if I don't want to take coffee, what's a good pick me up?
Something you can always find in a supermarket is like a green or a black tea. A green tea is a really short steep tea. Just want to put that out there. It's going to get bitter the longer you steep it. You put a little milk and honey in it if that's what you want. That's easy.
Okay.
Midday, what are your needs? You want something have another cup of green tea.
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't, depending on what time in the afternoon, it's not going to take you over. But I really like a little bit of ginger. A little bit of ginger tea is fine. It's good. It warms me up a little bit. And usually in the evenings, I like chamomile, but I don't really like chamomile. Like, I'll drink it, but at some point I feel like it's just, there's a lot. It's just too much. You can get like an Earl Grey and have just a little bit of that. It does have a little bit of caffeine, but if you're really caffeine sensitive, just grab some chamomile. It's not going to put you to sleep. It's not a hypnotic, it's not a sedative as far as, herb terms. But if you are relaxed, it really helps ease you into that. It helps you to chill out.
Got it.
Yeah.
Are there any teas out there that you make that kind of have some of the magnesium, sort of these vitamins that we do need? Do you sell a mix of that?
I do. I really try to incorporate that into the main teas that I sell. I have one that's called Vitamin, and it's vitamin mineral packed, very lightly green in flavor, very palatable. The Not Today Satan is literally your everyday cup of tea. You don't have to pick and choose like, I need something for digestion or I need something because I feel bad. It's got some calendula for gut health. It's got some Tulsi for brain health. The linden is in there to help with your central nervous system. And it does have nettle because that is where you're going to get essential minerals like magnesium.
That's dope. See,
Yeah.
so that, and that's
You don't have to pick and choose. This is super easy for people because herbalism can be super overwhelming.
Yeah, I agree. Because when you start to see, but if I take that and that, is there something that has both? Right? Because the moringa, I needed to have a moringa and
that's in the vitamin too. Moringa is in there.
it needed to be a mix. It needed to be mixed with something else. I forget what it was to help with production of milk. And I could never find it together. So I had to take one and then the other. I forget what it was. Dang it. Oh wait, doesn't matter. But I still take moringa because I like the taste. So and then, where can they find you? Let them know where they can find you if you guys are interested in getting any of her teas. You are local though, so if you're listening and you're not in Texas or in Houston, I guess the Houston area, then you know what I'm saying. You can find her on Instagram.
It's Instagram and Facebook at Living Earth Herbology. And then same website, Living Earth Herbology. It's all the same handle.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if you are here locally, you're in Pearland, right?
I am. You can order and have it shipped. You can order and do local pickup. And then I do frequent a couple of farmers markets on the weekends that you can meet there and pick up what you need.
Awesome. And you post all that stuff on your Instagram,
I
right?
absolutely do, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate it. And if you want to listen to the second part of this podcast, come join us on the Patreon, patreon.com/Her Lounge Podcast. Our community is growing there, guys. Don't miss out. And just a friendly reminder, this is the last month that you can be grandfathered in to the Patrona price tier that we're currently having, just because we're having more vendors join in, like I explained last week in our entrepreneur box. So if you want to join the Patreon, I would jump on now to this price because it's not going to be the same. So thank you guys for listening. See you guys next week.